What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Marley.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome in each and every one of you cons out there. Who's leading? Who is leading the charge? Who is in charge? I want to know, because I have joined your ranks. That's right. Me, John P., aka Goku or Go Home, number 51511, won his con match this week against Ryan Rern and became the Mardu Khan, currently in control, currently in charge. Have done very little with this power. It's a little late in the league for me to be boasting claims and changing things around. But hey, happy to be here. This is the Mardu Minute. I am your Mardu Khan, and I am your host with the most, your Don John DeMarco, your Goku or Go Home, your Khan of Mardu. I am a 3-time top 8er, a 2-time league winner, and 1 time I was a con leader for Mardu. See how that works out? All kind of ties together. Well, let's go ahead and let's get to Cons of Tarkir news. Yeah, we're checking in on the cons, who's in charge, who won their matches. Let's take a look. For Mardu, John P., Goku or Go Home, took down Ryan Rern. Then you have Con of Jeskai, Evan L., who beat Marley L., Beauty and the Gitrog, coming on the show later. Raphael F. Prudent, Eric Smitty, passed down his conship, and they fought for it. Raphael got the win. Philip B. Plipster, the Teamer Con, is eliminated. Con, but not forgotten. And Damian S. Buttcrack Magic, still the Sultai Con, 100% approval rating, but he is eliminated. We're going to say his name later in the show, but let's go ahead and trigger prowess.
Let's trigger prowess.
That's right. As I record, this is your Cons of Tarkir Top 8. It is 5:14 on Thursday, Week 5. We are getting ready for Week 6. We are getting ready to wrap this up. This is the last episode for Cons of Tarkir. Next year is our MKM kickoff. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's get through the top 8. Number 1, Daniel G. Frisky Hobbit, 19-6. Number 2, Eric S. Smitty, 18-6. Number 3, Richard K. Preacher, 18-7. Maxime R. Tassiger, that's a great name, 17-8. John P. Goku or Go Home, 17-8. Nick S. Najisi NJS III, 17-8. Steve T. Strout, 16-9. Evan L. Evan, 16-9. 2 cons in the top 8. Con of Mardu, Con of Jeskai. Currently, a nice little spread, honestly. You got 2 Jeskai, 2 Mardu, 2 Teamer, and 1 Abzan sitting in there in the top 8. And we're getting ready for this last week, right? This week 6. You know week 6. It's weird. It's different. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the primers. It's on the server. Play your games quick. Play your games early. You don't want to wait to play your games. I made it to week 6 last league, but I only played 1 game and lost. This is the best I've done in a long time. 17-8. I got 3 losses to give. Yeah, 3 losses to give. And I only need 1 or 2 more wins to hopefully make the top 8. Make the mega draft. Would be cool, but we will see if it happens. It is not guaranteed. And I got to get at least 1 win on my way out. But I went 4-1 this week. Went 4-1 last week. Another great week. And I got to say, I had a great Magic week. We'll talk about it. First of all, I get my Festival in a Box that I won off Arena in the mail. Open it up. Very cool. My first prize I've got from playing Arena. Super awesome. Went 4-1 this week, which pushed up my, I came in at 8th and now I'm in 5th. And, looking good. 17-8, 4-1, looking good and feeling good. And then did the pre-release for MKM, went 2-0, had a good time, had some fun playing the new set. And yeah, it's great. It was a great Magic week for me. But it's not all about me, right? Sometimes we have other people on the show, and I got someone on the show that is a riveteer through and through, even when they are a Jeskai. Join me as we delve a little deeper.
Ever they delve deeper, down into the dark. And that is where they found it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This week, I talked to Marley L, a.k.a. Beauty and the Gitrog. And I've known them since they came in. They came back for a family league. They're doing great. They're currently in, where are they? Currently in 13th place. I mean, they win a few games. They could be in their first mega draft right now, looking at their first, hopefully, top 16. And I had a nice little conversation about them and Magic, and it was wonderful. I love talking to Marley. Marley was super cool. Let's go ahead and play that interview now. All right, everyone, join me as we delve a little deeper this week with none other than Marley L, a.k.a. Beauty and the Gitrog. Welcome to the show, Marley.
It's great to be here. I appreciate getting a chance to talk a little Magic about one of the best sets of all time. So, yeah.
Ooh, I love the opinion starting off strong. You're really buttering me up. I love to I hear it. But before we get there, I want to know, when did you start playing Magic?
I feel like everyone has their tabletop answer, right? Like when you don't really know how the game works. So that was when I was 9.
Nice.
I had like an expansive set of Pokemon cards, and all the older kids were like, Magic's a game for like adults and grown-ups. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll learn this. My mom like tried to bring me to an organized event, but it was me and a bunch of like 20 to 25-year-olds. And I think she was like, I'm never leaving you with these people again. And then at some point in college, I was just like, oh, I have disposable income and disposable time. Great. Let's just start drafting. And that was like Return to Ravnica, I think.
Nice.
So that's the real answer. RTR forward.
As a Return to Ravnica starter, we're going back to Ravnica. Are you excited about that? Do you have a connection to Ravnica, or do you not care?
I was a little low on the set. I feel like someone's take that why did we need to go to Ravnica to get New Capenna done correctly? I feel like that's a good answer. But we did a couple pre-releases and it was a lot of fun. I think it's a good set. I think Disguise/Morph makes it very difficult for a set to be too bad.
Yeah.
So if you're like me and a little down on it, you should give it a shot, give it a couple of drafts. I think it's going to be a really engaging limited format.
Yeah, I think I've only done one pre-release, but it was fun. I love Morph. Morph is back. It's Disguise. Although, you know what? I opened some packs, right? Because first of all, I don't understand these packs. We don't need to talk about that, but I don't understand what a pack is anymore. I think there's a foil in every pack. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I opened a lot of rares and a lot of foils.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, but that's fine.
Well, do you think Murders of Karlov Manor is going to be a good set? Did you have fun at your pre-release?
Yes. I thought, oh, do you know what they call the token for a disguised creature? Because I opened one and it doesn't say disguised creature.
No, it says it's a mysterious creature.
I looked at it for a minute and was like, what is this token for? And then it's disguised, but it's a mysterious creature. What a weird, what a name. Well, we'll never be able to call anything and know what it means, but mysterious creature. I think it's going to be fun. I still don't really understand collect evidence. That mechanic seems like it's not something I really want to play, and I don't really understand how I'm supposed to play it. But everything else seems great. Like everything else, I'm liking it. And I mean, I've played 2 games, but it was fun.
Yeah, we blatantly ignored collect evidence, so I have nothing to report on that.
Same.
I think Chris, fresh off his demotion, was saying collect evidence 4 was actually not too bad on the Azoni card. But
okay. Yeah, I'm sure it's great on like a rare or a mythic, but the cards that want you to investigate or whenever you collect evidence, do this, do that. I think it's just gonna be tough. Although who knows? I could be very wrong, and there's some like turbo mill yourself deck, and it's fantastic, and we'll see.
Ooh, yeah, I'd like to see that.
That does sound fun, right? Oh, that sounds like a good time. So I'd like to know, how are you liking your current AGL league, Cons? How is Cons going? You're doing well. You're up there.
Yeah. I this is the first league where I haven't crashed and burned by like week 4, so like that's exciting.
Congrats.
We're pleased to announce we will be out we are at 15 and 10, which means we're playing week 6, which
Nice.
means we're going to be, I think we're in like 10th place right now, so we're going to be gunning for the top spots here, or we'll go out in a blaze of glory. So league's been great. I'm sure we'll talk about this more. Team element's fantastic. Cons, like I said, best format of all time. So, you
You're
combine
an
all that together.
OG enjoyer, huh? So
Yeah.
you were there back in the day of checking your cards and figuring what morphs were what, and having to show when you lost the game. You had to show them what the card was.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
good
Um,
times.
yeah. I think another element of that that's completely lost on contemporary, like playing it again, is just how sweet it was to open like a foil treasure cruise or a foil fetch land and be like, oh
Yeah,
snap, I'm going to be drafting for free for the next like month.
yeah.
And now it's like,
Uh,
yeah,
because fetchlands were back, right? There was a huge spike in popularity when cons came out. So I remember my cons pre-release. I opened a Windswept Heath and I opened a Sorin, and I felt like I was just doing
yeah,
it, like I. And the set was just so fun. It's such a good
yeah,
draft format. I
yeah,
will say, sealed. I'm a little over the sealed format, but you can't help it.
yeah. I will say I do appreciate that. I don't like, this is me now just like kind of, grandstanding with my bad, bad player opinions, for lack of a better phrase. But I do think there's a way in which your cards and cons didn't do everything, right? And so you had to be very deliberate about how you were building out your decks and making decisions about like what you were doing, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
I don't know, like my Karlov Manor two-headed giant pre-release, like pick your poison. I was just like, there's no downside to putting this into the pile.
yeah.
Because it has like sacrifice enchantment, sacrifice artifact, or sacrifice creature with flying. So it's sort of like, all right, I'm not really thinking about my deck construction. I'm just shoving this in here and it's going to have utility every single time. Whereas, like, I don't know. There were games where, even in this league, where like Erase was like my best card because someone's running off with 2 Abzan Ascendancies, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, Damien, two Abzan Ascendancies.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Well, and
So,
that's so funny because Erase is not a card I have seen or played once the entire league.
mhm.
But that's awesome. That sideboard card that comes in clutch. Uh, sounds wonderful. Talking about
Mhm.
cons, I want to know about Jeskai Marley. I want to know what's going on with Jeskai. I've talked to everybody. I know, let's see, Teamer, they're posting bear pictures. Okay. Mardu, they tried to get a horse thing going for a little bit. Uh, Saltai, they're all bowing before Damien, and Damien's ruling them with an iron fist.
Mhm.
Abzan, uh, what do they say? They're the turtles. They're slow and steady, but they're trying to come back and win this thing. They're not the rhino. They've embraced the turtle. Um, what's going on with the Jess guy?
I feel like as a clan, we got together, and we really wanted to just figure out like what the epitome of the Magic the Gathering experience was. We got together, we posted some deck lists in week 1. Everyone commented on everyone's deck list. We all came up with different ideas. And we weren't even really looking to like win too many matches. We were just looking to, straight vibes, straight just find Magic enlightenment,
I love it.
really find the apex of the experience,
Yeah,
whether that's a win or a loss. And it turns out that if you're looking for the vibe based experience, that's going to lead you to a pretty decent place. Like inner place, inner peace. We've had a lot of fun, just like jamming and talking about the different builds. I've noticed that like I will offer insight on like, oh, I would build this, and someone else will say, I will go in a completely different direction. And so I think every player has had like 5 or 6 different opinions on 5 or 6 different builds.
nice. That's fun.
Yeah, it's been a good vibe. It's been a pure vibe. Jordan really led us in this concept that power is horizontal. You know, there's no one individual Khan. We are all Khans at heart, and
Hmm.
everyone gets a chance to try their hand. And if life deems it, if the vibes deem it, you will be the Khan of the Just Guy. So that's really just what's been going on. Pure vibes all day.
I did notice that the Jeskai Khans were just kind of like passing, without like for the first match, Jordan didn't even play. He's like, yeah, I'm passing it down. And I noticed that
Yeah,
happened a couple times. So I did kind of get the vibe that we are all equal. We are the Jeskai collective, one hive mind of positivity, good vibes. And it's
yeah,
paying off.
yeah. It's been fun. It was really fun to see Jordan do that, and then we all just sort of he. The funny thing is, he did not. He was just like, I'm just going to do this. You guys can make your own decisions. And everyone else has been like, well, who am I to say I'm better than Jordan? I'm
Oh
going
yeah.
to
Poof.
pass myself on. Yeah.
Yeah. How
Um,
could you?
yeah. I think we were like thinking, how can we make this like a very fun, engaging experience for everyone? And we were just like, what if as many people as possible got a shot at being con? And
That's great.
yeah, it was delightful. Helped some people just make their it's $10 now, right? So it's like they're going to be
Yeah.
making their league entry back. Um, got a chance for like to be covered as a con match. It was great. It's a
Yeah,
great
and
time.
you got to be con for a short while. Did you rule? I guess you don't rule at Jeskai. You just vibe. So did
Yeah,
you
you
have
just
any declarative vibes?
I think my sole contribution was instigating a little bird post. I think we
Nice.
all shared some burbs, different shapes, different sizes.
Ooh, I love it. We're gonna
Um,
get to that a little later. We're gonna be
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about that.
yeah. I
But
think that
yeah,
was my lasting contribution. Like I said, not the best player by a mile in the clan. So I was just like, I'm just going to contribute to the vibes here.
I mean, yeah, you say that, but you're right on the cusp of the top eight right now, and like you said, you're making week six for the first time. You might not be the best, but you're certainly not the worst, Marley, this league.
We're staying alive. We're staying alive.
Doing what you
Staying
can. I
alive
mean,
on vibes.
it's all about just if you can get to week six, you never know. Well, that's the
Yeah.
toughest part is getting there. Now you just got to win just a couple more, and then the dream. I'll be rooting for you.
Oh, all right. I'll see you in the top eight. Let's
Ooh, I love it.
we'll
I
be
love it.
paired across the pod. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I just need you to beat everybody beneath me so they lose out and I don't get taken over. That's
Got it.
my
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it for sure.
I love it. Well, the league. Oh, not the league questions. Yeah, we got one more. You're just guy now. You were a Riveteer. That was your first league, the Streets of New Capenna family league, which I got to be the Don. And I've called you out many times as someone I remember being a new player in that league for whatever reason. Probably the name. I love the name Beauty and the Gitrog. We're gonna get to that later. Um, but yeah, you were a Riveteer. Now you're a Jeskai Bird. Uh,
Hmm.
what's been what are some of the differences between the two different families? I mean, well, what's that been like?
Honestly, I think once, yeah, exact opposite of your question. One similarity, we were both flying high. We were hanging out, having lunch on the steel beams, and now we're just as Jeskai, we're flying over. Um, I think
Wow.
one thing that's been really different is like, and I talked about this a little earlier, so I won't rehash it, but literally like my first week I went 1-4 on Jeskai. And I was just like, I was straight close to just being like, you know what, we're just gonna lose out, crash and burn week 3, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Posted the list I was working with because I was trying to splash for 1,000 wins in the Abzan build.
Sure.
Double blue, why not?
Yeah. Hey,
And
it's a
people were
strong
just
card.
like, yeah. And like I said, 7 people like just posted different lists in like green, white, black, but all of them agreed you don't need to be in blue. Like, what are you doing? You've got like 20 outlast creatures. You've got an end hostilities. I think at that point I had a Ghost Fireblade. Or like just play good cards. Like, what are you doing? And so that's when I really was able to like I think go on a little bit of a run here because like
Nice.
after that 1-4 start, whatever math, it's hard. And I think like I'm trying to remember. I think in Riveteers we were all kind of marching to the beat of our own drums. Like we were supporting each other and like doing that. But it felt like we were not like all kind of narrowing in on what the best deck was at that point. Which
working
with no,
class,
yeah, we were working class. Yeah, like we had real concerns. We did not have time to sit in a monastery like that someone else was paying for. We had to build the
yeah, we
we had
had
to
our
build the
own daily
buildings.
pressures in and out outside of the league, and we did the best we could with
Yeah,
what we had. We weren't the bourgeoisie. We
yeah,
were blue collar, and
yeah.
we liked it that way.
It was great. It was a great time. I think fondly back on that league.
Me
Plus
too.
those like
That's a fun one.
yeah.
And the first time you came in, where did you? Let me guess. You came in from Reddit. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I will not remember at this point, but probably it was definitely some kind of online link, or maybe someone on like one of the varying discords was like, "I'm doing this. You guys should check it out." And I was like,
Ooh,
"Family League, New
I love
Capenna, let's
that.
go."
I love
Yeah.
that. All right. Well, it is time for questions from the league, and we got a bunch of them, so we'll see if we can get through all of them. Our first one comes from Raphael F. Prudent, who would like to know, what is your favorite guild and favorite card?
So favorite guild, Golgari. I know that like every color combo now gets to play with the graveyard, but you remember back in the day when that was like a Golgari thing? Like they
Yeah.
were the only ones
It's
who
like,
made the
is it in
graveyard.
spells, like Golgari and Graveyard? It's like, that's always the mechanic that they would get. It's like, yep,
Yeah.
Golgari's doing graveyard stuff.
I have like a Sultai Mill commander deck that everyone groans when I break it out because we have a very
Ooh,
casual group, like people
sure.
who don't necessarily know all the rules. And
Nice.
they're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I need to keep track of Marley's graveyard now.
Who's the commander?
Tassiger. So shout
Ooh,
out Sultai. Yeah, yeah. Um,
nice.
and in fact, actually, the main game plan of that is just mill myself for 1,000,000, translate that into mana, and then do Villainous Well for like
All right.
X equals
Marley,
30.
you might be my best friend in the world. Yeah, what you just described.
Yeah. Favorite card, Arcbound Ravager, like by country mile.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Um,
you're a artifact man.
yeah. I think I'm more of a constructed format player, and Ravager, like any format where Ravager can be a competitive card is something I'm very interested in playing. It's a card I think too that like if you don't if you've never played with it, like you see a 2 mana 1/1 artifact creature, you're like, what is this? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And when you play with it exactly once, you're like, oh, that's what we're doing, huh? And I just love that because I feel like it's the difference between like playing Magic at the kitchen table and then playing Magic like, like actually trying to win. It's like, oh, you can break this very deeply. So
That's
yeah.
that's when it gets fun. When you start doing things that you weren't really supposed to do. That's when it gets
Yeah.
really fun.
Uh,
Damien S. Butt Crack Magic would love to know. Uh, who would you consider Beauty and who would be Gitrog in the context of the league?
so Beauty was pretty easy to answer. Like I think it's everyone who's doing all of this sort of content work. So,
Ooh.
shout out to you, John. Shout out to
Oh,
Richard for the feature matches, and they've been really fun to watch and play. I hear Bob was doing write-ups for the roto drafts. I don't know if you saw those of like the different pods and the strategies that were going on.
oh yeah, that's super fun.
And it looks like he might be doing like playback analysis, like from like streams and VODs and whatever.
Mhm.
So, I think everyone who brings some element of content, and I guess the league committee as well, right? Keeping everything intact and doing all the background work. Like every time I see that Google sheet, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I
Keeping
don't
that whole thing.
understand any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So that was very easy to be like that. Y'all are the beauties. As for the Gitrog, I don't know if anyone else keeps up with Magic lore these days, but the Gitrog monster shows up in exactly one story. He shows up in Shadows over Innistrad, and
Hmm.
he lives on a lake called Lake Java. And there's a town that lives off of that lake. They feed, they swim, they do whatever. And apparently the Gitrog monster used to be just like a larger than life frog, like maybe a shark frog that would occasionally like steal a sheep or whatever. But then when Emrakul gets imprisoned in the moon, thanks Gatewatch. The Gitrog monster becomes this like ruthlessly charismatic creature that like hypnotizes and mesmerizes a community into like sacrificing itself to its greater glory. And so I had to ask myself, like, what person in the league has like devoted following, who has 100% support from their clan, you know, who are we all maybe a little bit concerned about the overall well-being of like the people there, you know, despite like a very winning charismatic personality on the front of it. So yeah, I think the Gitrog might be Damien. I think it might be
Ooh,
Damien.
I love it. He asked the question and he gets the answer himself. Wow. And yeah, I mean, he is 100% support every vote from every player in Sultai. I mean, you can't, they stand behind him. Yeah. What
Yeah,
can you say?
yeah, yeah. They were happy to do it, right? Like in the story, the villagers, they're happy to do it, happy to give up everything to the Gitrog. So
And where does that name come from? Beauty and the Gitrog. Is there a story there, or is it just came up with it one day?
yeah, so early in COVID, my wife and I like moved in together for the first time, and like she had played Magic starting in Return to Ravnica as well. And we kind of, because we couldn't do pre-releases or anything like that,
Hmm.
we would like play with boxes, play with cards. And then at some point during the pandemic, Arena became available on Max.
Yep.
And so we downloaded it and we would do like, we were like going to do drafts together, do sealeds together. So we had to come up with a name. And I was like futzing with a Gitrog monster commander deck at the time, and she likes frogs. So we were like, Beauty and the Gitrog. Boom.
Nice. I love it. Who doesn't love some Gitrog monster?
So good. Such a good card.
Whenever they do like the weird, like, Gitrog alt arts or Gitrog sleeves, or I don't know, he just
Yeah.
pops up everywhere now, and it's so funny. He's like become a
Yeah.
meme. And
It's great too. The judge promo is like $20 or something, and the art is actually gorgeous. 10 out of 10.
oh my gosh. Cody Race would like to know, if you were a magic card, what card would you be?
Oh, you're gonna love this. I think I would be Riveteer's Requisitioner, the 2-drop 3/1 that has a dash cost of 4, I think. And when it dies, you make a treasure token.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In life, I'm a union organizer, so I'd like to believe I'm helping requisition
Oh
wealth
wow.
away from, you know, the owners and to the workers. So I think that's really encapsulating my vibe there.
You were in the right family for that one. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I was thrilled when I was a Riveteer. I was like, excellent, great, where
That's
we want to
wonderful.
be.
Duncan would like to know, favorite treat, whether leisure, activity, food, or drink, or other.
Oh man, I loved like seeing this question unravel because at first I was like, oh, bubble tea for sure. But then he was like leisurely activity,
Oh
food.
yeah.
And I was like, oh man, now I have to think about this. I think it might be the cold weather right now, but I'm really missing like we have like a bike path that runs like the length of Manhattan down here. And we would go biking on it for like 6 or 7 miles, stop at a store, buy some things, and bike back. So I think like just like biking with a purpose
Yeah.
is really the leisurely activity I'm settling on right now.
Nice, nice, man. Are you biking in Manhattan? That sounds dangerous. That
It's
sounds
you know, it was, and then over the past like 10 years, there's been like a lot of work in terms of like making bike lanes. And the one that I'm thinking about, it's like right next to the Hudson River,
okay.
and it's separated from everything. Like no, there are no cars, there's nothing. It's just bikers and walkers and the occasional dog. And it's a great time.
Yeah, sounds
So
lovely.
yeah, bring your bike. Bring your bike to the city. This is
Oh
a
yeah.
full-on endorsement. Things will be fine.
Jack H. Rakic would like to know, what makes you play in a league versus not play? Since you're back after a few leagues, what did you look forward to in cons that wasn't in the past few sets?
Um, yeah, so I think probably the most important thing is like, what am I trying to do with Magic in a given year? I think it can sometimes be really tough for me to play online because it's sort of like, I'm sure this is true for everyone, but you're prone to tilt a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element to the game in person, which is just like reading your opponent and like trying to suss out like what you think is happening, not
Yeah.
just based on the board state, but also like, is there a lot of dramatic sighing? Are they like shuffling their cards very nervously?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some elements of that that I'm sometimes I'm like, look, this is a year where I'm focusing on like modern or standard or whatever. I'm just gonna be doing this. Um, but then also I think a non-zero factor is like, oh, did I remember to register? Like, oh yeah, I want to play online for 6 weeks. Did I miss the deadline? Oh, whoops. We've talked a little bit about cons, so like I think that those answers are the same. I knew as soon as I saw it was going to be a family league as well. I was like, okay, there's no way. I'm setting a
Yeah.
reminder. I'm setting an alarm clock. Like, can't miss out.
The family leagues are just special.
It's
They're different, and there's just something magical about them that like
it's
it
so
aren't in the other
good.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like there's just like not a lot of space. I think in general, unless you're like a pro Magic player, to like have a Magic team, like just to work with a group of people on like trying to break something or do something.
Uh-huh.
And I think the family leagues kind of just like lend themselves to that. Like just have a lot of people working on a goal together.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. Everyone comes together. The new players come out. They get help. They get support. They do well. It's so great.
Right? Yeah.
Um, Caleb G, why not? Would like to know. Oh, let me ask you this. So
Yeah.
you sounds like you're a constructed player.
Mhm.
Well, what's your favorite format to play? It's like you it sounds like you like do you like constructed more than limited? Let's start there.
Um, I like limited more, but I think I've always conceived of myself as a pretty bad limited player in the sense of like I'm very bad at, I think I worked really hard last year to try and improve on this, but like I'm generally pretty bad at initial card evaluation and being like,
Mhm.
oh, this is good, or oh, this is bad, or underrating draw card, or overrating seven drop that does nothing. Um, so I think that's a really big stepping stone on limited. I think with like constructed formats, I can do a little bit more of like assess whether there's a deck that I am interested in playing in a format and then run with that until I stop having fun. Whereas like limited formats are a little bit inherently a little bit more swingy.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, I think like more contemporary limited formats, it feels like there's just not that many trade-offs in terms of card quality and like what you want to do with a giant card pile. So yeah, so I think I like limited just as much as the constructed formats. Just it's easier for me to play, I think, constructed formats in general. Um,
What's your modern
yeah.
deck?
Oh, hardened scales all the way.
Ooh.
Arcbound Ravager competitive.
Oh man, I love that. This scale is from Caleb. Why not? When you and other Jeskais meditate, what do you all think about?
Oh man. So I missed the other Jeskai meditate. I answered this from my perspective. So
That's fine.
I can't extend this, just see my earlier comments about the vibes or just meditating on the pure vibes. For me, sometimes my brain is like moving like 20 million miles an hour. I'm sure we all feel this way. And so I'm just mostly trying to find like a place where I can just like slow things down, like thinking about like, a beach I once went to or a spot we biked to just try and get my body to catch up to like whatever my brain's thinking about.
Hmm.
And it's all very mundane stuff. It's like, oh my God, the bed hasn't been made yet. The dishes need to be washed. I'm going to lose to entropy if I don't find someone to play me this week. But that's usually what like my meditation, like I'm closing my eyes and I'm just trying to be like happy places.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just I watched the movie Collateral recently. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Oh,
But Jamie Foxx keeps a picture of a beautiful
yes, yes,
beach at his
yes,
cab, and it's his happy place to escape. Very cool.
yes, yes.
Good movie. Check
Great,
it out.
great movie I hadn't thought about in a decade. Yeah.
Maxime Tassiger, your commander, not your commander, but the commander of your commander deck, would like to know, and this is a great question. If you and John were both malevolent hermits and someone cast Forked Bolt on both of you with no open mana, How long would it take for you to sacrifice yourself to save John? Or what would you do to get him to sacrifice himself? Arena rope is ticking.
All right, John. The arena rope is ticking, and in true Jeskai fashion, I think we can have a conversation about this. So
Okay,
it's true that sacrificing yourself sucks, right?
sure.
But we're in contemporary magic environment, so the graveyard is only temporary. And in fact,
Oh.
as Malevolent Hermit, you can come back as like a what is it, like a happy geist?
It comes back as something else, but yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
So I guess the question is, would you rather be a malevolent hermit or would you rather be like a happy geist?
You know
And if
what?
you, yeah,
That was so good. What yeah, because I get to come back anyway. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine. I'll come back. I'll come right back. You can, well, that's fine. I don't mind.
there you go. See, so yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. You should just do more debating. That was wonderful. So easy. All right, our last question for you, Marley, comes from your great original Khan of Jeskai, Jordan MJM Tron. And Jordan would like to know a huge part of your legacy as the Jeskai Khan was all the bird gifts you brought to the channel. Do you have a pet bird? Are you a big bird watcher? And do you love Wingspan?
So I don't have a pet bird because we have a cat right now, but I love the concept of maybe one day having a pet bird. I was during lockdown. My wife is like she was in an evolutionary biology program at the time. Now she teaches like climate environmental science. So she did a bird watching class, and like I would be like, oh, I wonder what that bird is, or I wonder what, we'd hear the bird song through our window or whatever.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, we can look this up. And she showed me this like Cornell ornithology lab, and we'd like listen to the song. We got to know all the like common birds we'd see, so like the cardinal, the blue jay, the sparrow.
Yeah.
And then once you got the common birds, I think the question is like, do you want to see more interesting birds? And
Ooh.
so yeah, and you don't have to work that hard at it. I think it's just sort of like taking a look and being like, oh, that's not a sparrow. That's actually like, a titmouse or whatever.
That's a
That's part of it
yellow-bellied
too.
finch.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
You dummy. That is not a sparrow. How dare
Yeah.
you?
So that's become like a new kind of habit that we have. And in fact, if you're ever in the city, there's a great right by JFK, there's a wildlife refuge called Jamaica Bay where they actually move the elevation of the water over the course of the spring based on like what they think is migrating from the south going up north for the summer. And so every week you just see different kinds of birds and like 300 of them. It's
Wow.
like, it's wild. So if you ever got a layover at JFK, like you have like 3 to 4 hours, you can definitely make this trip, walk around, check it out, get on your flight, whatever.
Look at
Um, yeah, Wingspan's great, by the way. So
that.
any if you're interested in board games or if you want to play board games that are not like Trouble or Risk or whatever, it's a 5-player game. You set up your ecology and you just try to attract birds. Gorgeous art. They have like all different kinds of birds. They have all these little modular pieces. And it's for 5 players, which is sweet because I think a lot of games are 4. But then, your other friend comes over and you're like, do you want to team up? It's like, no, you can have your own little bird ecology. So yeah, sweet game, really sweet game. People should definitely check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never played Wingspan, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've always been very interested. So yeah, all I know is that it's supposed to be like one of the best board games to come out in like the last 5 years or whatever.
Yeah, it's wild because they've all gotten stupid expensive, but it's worth it, I think.
Well, Marley, I'd like to thank you so much for making time and for coming on the show, the Mardu Minute, aka Hunt the Week. Like I said, I was always proud to have you as a Riveteer, and now I'm watching you be right outside the top 8. Have you made top 16 before? Could this be your first top 16?
I think this is the first chance at top 16. So
Oh boy, it's a tag.
we've made history either way. But definitely those of you not John at the lower half of the bracket, I'm coming for you. I want that top 8 spot.
I love it. You and me, we're gonna see each other up there in the top 8. Top 8, not only top 8, we're gonna see each other in the finals of the top 8, fighting it out for glory. Don and possibly his successor coming for his skin. Ooh, doesn't look at that storyline. So good.
Oh man, that's gonna be great. I also like that it sets up potentially a future finals event where I go against Jordan. So love that potential for a sequel there.
Oh my gosh. The Karate Kid story. Come on. Well, Marley, thank you so much for coming on the show. Like I said, I'll be rooting for you next week. You made it to week 6. I hope you do well on your way out. Good luck to you out there, and I'll see you on the battlefield, my friend.
Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you're doing for this league.
No problem, man. Happy to do it. Again, what a cool guy. I love everything this guy's talking about. I love what he's dropping. I'm picking it up. And I'm so happy to see you back, Marley. Thank you so much for coming back. I was always a fan, even back in the SNC days. And it was really nice to get you on the show and learn a little bit about you and to watch you do well. I love watching people do well, like especially people that like Joe T, Elasticity. He's in Mardu. He's going to be Mardu forever. But he's out here doing great. And since this is the last Khans of Tarkir week, I wanted to know, and this is just, I'm not speaking to anybody, but I wanted to know the weird stuff that was going on in your clans, the stuff that we couldn't talk about but maybe can now talk about. The one thing that really got me, I told Rakic in week 1, hey man, use the podcast however you want. Like, I am happy to have a disinformation campaign where I'm spewing some kind of weird nonsense on the podcast, specifically for Mardu. And the Mardu clan wasn't having it. They said no. They said, no, just do your normal podcast. We don't want to do anything too crazy with it. But I wish we would have done something crazy with it. You don't get a lot of opportunities to be the crooked media, feeding fake news to people. I would have loved it. It would have been fun. But I also couldn't really figure out what that was or how to make it work. I just do the podcast. As soon as I start figuring out stuff, it's too much for me. But it was great. Again, Marley, thank you so much for coming on the show. So great talking to them. They were so cool. But this is Khans of Tarkir. We're wrapping it up. We're getting ready for MKM, Murder at Karlov Manor. And we do have some rules. Some are redacted. I actually just registered minutes ago because the registration was down. It's back up. You can register again. This is MKM. Welcome to the Ravnica Detective Agency. Listen up, rookie, because this is the only introduction you're going to get. We've blacked out the sensitive bits until you're officially cleared. You get the gist. Hopefully it's a quick study. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so the theme here is clues. Every time you lose a match, you get a clue. Every time you solve a case, you get 2 clues. Okay, so you can get clues either by losing, solving cases, or a third thing that they haven't said yet. It is redacted. Solving cases, all hands on deck. So you're going to get your own cases to work right out of the gate. We've identified a rogues gallery of potential suspects, and you need to narrow down the list, your case down to 1. How? After every loss, you accuse a suspect from the list. If you've got the right suspect, you solve the case and get 2 clue tokens and a new case. If not, you'll receive some valuable information to help you narrow down the suspect for you. Weird. So it's a weird little, kind of guess who side thing that's going on. You guess after every loss until you solve your case or get eliminated. And what do you do with these clues? Okay, what do you do with them? You collect evidence. Collect evidence 2. You have to spend 2 clue tokens. You get a new pack randomly selected from one of the last 6 standard sets. If you save up to 4, you get a new pack from the set of your choice from the last 6 standard sets. If you collect evidence 6, generate 2 new punishment packs from the sets of your choice in the last 6 standard sets. Select one of the 2 packs and add it to your pool. And if you collect evidence 10, you save all your clues or more till the end. 2 new packs from a set or sets of your choice in the last 6 standard sets. So we're staying in the last 6 standard sets. We're doing only standard packs, and you got to do some extra stuff to earn them, whether that's, losing or solving cases. I don't know if you just want to just collect evidence 2 and re-roll all the time, or maybe you want to save up. I'm not sure. I don't really know how this is going to go, but I'm excited. This is fun. Looks cool. This looks pretty neat. And then we're using play boosters, and man, real quick, I had a great Magic week, but I gotta say, I gotta tear into play boosters. I hate play boosters. I don't understand. You can show me this picture of what's in the pack 1,000 times. I don't get it. It's too much for my brain to think about. And two things about playing this set on an arena that have really, really bugged me. One, the duplicates. They have duplicates in packs now, and that's just how it is. That's as intended. I hate it. I hate seeing the same card twice. It's jarring. It's weird. It doesn't need to be there. Like, I don't understand why they did it. I don't like it. Second thing that's really bothering me. Disguised creatures. I talked to Marley about it. They make a token for those. It says, what, mysterious creature? That's what it says? In Arena, it just says face down card. Why doesn't it say mysterious? Why doesn't it use the token that Magic uses? And it uses the art, I think, but they changed the name to be face down card instead of mysterious creature. Again, I just don't get it. I don't understand why. And I guess I don't have to. And there are some other people that have a lot of time to think about this because they're not here anymore. They've been with us. They've gone. They are Khan, but not for cotton. And we say goodbye to them now.
I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive, buried alive.
Ryan M., Rern 22. Chris R., Sinkwater. Dan A., Beat Down Bringa. Philip B., Plipster. Thane, Thigin. Joseph H., Sexcellence. Jacob V., Dreisel. Ryan D., The Slickness. Johnny M., Johnny. Jaden M., Mononic Device. Paul G. the Dragon. Miranda L. Black Canary. Damian S. Butt Crack Magic. Duncan M. Rob Roy Duncan. Chris P. Joker 01. Lot P. Lot. Emmett F. Sepulcher. Bob P. Hit. Ian F. I Am the Walrus. Jordan M. J.M. Tron. Cody Race. YC. Azayaka. Danny B. MTG Might. Zach C. Zach Carr. And Jack H. Rakic. Yeah, and I hope people really like cons. I love cons. Hey, I'll give my feedback here, because why not? That's kind of how it works. I love cons. I love Cons of Tarkir. I really started feeling like this league was a slog after week 3. I think this should have been a 3-week league. I understand it couldn't have been a 3-week league because the family part wouldn't have worked, and that's what made this league what it is and what made it so fun. But the meta is bad. The meta of aggro decks. It's all aggro now. I know I said last week, you probably want to be warriors, or it's all warriors. It's all Mardu. It's all Mardu and Edson. That's all it is. And it's all go wide. It's all rush of battles. It is. It's not the cons I know and love. You know, that's the thing. It's not. It didn't work. It didn't work for us. At least I don't think it does. I'm not having fun playing these matches too much anymore, and I'm doing well. I'm still playing games, right? But it's not the cons I want. I don't think I ever saw a Tassiger in this league. I never saw a Villainous Wealth. Everything's too slow for what we do. Everything just get beat up on by these fast decks, and I'm sure that was out there, and I'm sure it was happening, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just winning before they're playing that because I'm playing an aggro deck, which also isn't something I really like to do, but I'm winning and doing well, so of course I am. So yeah, I think this should have been a 3-week league. I think it would have felt better. But then it wouldn't have had the family aspect, which makes this what it is. I hope family leagues come back often. I think one a year minimum, maybe even more. I love Zach's idea of let's figure out a way to do group stuff that doesn't even make it a family league. Like, we can be in groups and still be playing against each other. It's a great idea. People are clamoring for it. All the new players love it. All the old players love it. So yeah, I hope we don't have to wait 2 more years for another family league. I hope they come back soon. And yeah, this was great. I just think cons, it's not, for me, it's a draft format. It doesn't work great in sealed, and it's just over time, the slow stuff just can't compete. It can't compete with the fast stuff, and now it's all fast stuff. I hope you're ready for MKM. I hope you finish strong in cons. I'm going to try. I really am. I'd love to top it at Mega Draft. It has been a minute. I maybe do it once a year. Maybe this is my one. Maybe I'm just doing good. I've actually been doing okay this year. Barely missed top 16. I think I was 17th in the last league. This league, I'm looking for at least a top 16 finish. I'm not playing the worst Magic right now. I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you get to keep a good 7, and that shuffler's in your favor, because that's what it's all about. You got to play some good Magic. I don't care. I just want to play some good Magic. I don't want to watch you mulligan to 4, and I don't want to mulligan to 5. And I don't want to draw 5 lands off the top of my deck, please. Thank you. I don't have card draw on this thing. I need to draw well. Well, we'll see everyone here next week as we get ready for the Mortar at Karlov Manor kickoff. Bye, everybody. This thing right here, this is letting all the Arena Gauntlet League players know what I'm talking about when I say this is one of these leagues that really brings us together. Check it out. Ooh, that deck's so scandalous, and I know another player can handle it. And GG them after the win, letting them know they shouldn't play you again. Thinking about doing a deck swap with someone else to help get to the top. There's your chance to take the top spot because you're playing Cons of Tark here now. You got more slip them up. I last like what? Delvoy the yard. I think I sang it again. You got more slip them up. I last like what? All league long. Let me be your con. Prowess, trigger. Baby, that con. I like it when I trigger raid. That con.